Videos to allow you to correct your homework for section 8.3.4. Problems are 898 through 8109. So for 898, they remind you that you learned how to classify an angle by comparing it to a 90-degree right angle. And so they want you to use the measurement that they're giving you here and classify it. So what is the measure of half of a right angle? Well, half of a right angle would be a 45-degree angle. And then if you take a right angle and add it to half a right angle, in other words, what would this total angle measurement be? Well, 90 plus 45 would be 135. And then if you took a right angle and divided it into 3 equal angles, each angle would be 30 degrees. 90 divided by 3 would be 30. 899, Gail bought a new baseball cap for $7.50, which was a third off of the original price. What was the original price? So there, again, there's more than one way to solve it. One way you could do it is you could say $7.50 is 2/3 of the total price. Okay, because $7.50 is 1/3 off the original price, so it's 2/3 of the original price, and then you could solve that with cross products. Or you could say $7.50 is 2/3 of the original price and solve it algebraically. Is translates to equal, 2/3 is 2/3, of translates to multiply, and the original price is shown by our variable. In either case, you get the answer of $11.25. There are probably other ways that you could solve that as well. So again, feel free, as long as you show the work, to solve it in a different way if it makes more sense to you. 8100, Carla's traditional hybrid car gets 35% fewer miles per gallon than Jeannie's solar hybrid car. If Jeannie's car gets 60 miles per gallon, how many gallons or miles per gallon does Carla's car get? They want you to do it in 2 different ways using 2 different scale factors or multipliers. So if Carla's car gets 35% fewer miles per gallon, we could take 35% as a decimal and multiply by how many miles per gallon Jeannie's car is getting, which means she's getting 21 miles per gallon less than Jeannie. Then we could take Jeannie's miles per gallon, 60, minus the 21 miles per gallon less that Carla's getting, to see that Carla's getting 39 miles per gallon. Or, since they want it in another way, we could think of it as, if she's getting 35% fewer, that means she's getting 65% of the miles per gallon that Jeannie gets. 100% minus 35% equaling 65%. So we could change 65% to the decimal times 60 miles per gallon to give us how many miles per gallon she's getting. In either case, of course, you get the same answer. 8101, Adriel and Gustavo were playing a game with algebra tiles. As they compared them, they're left with these expressions. They want you to use legal moves to simplify what's on the mats, record your steps, and then see if you can decide which side is greater. So once you do your legal moves, which you should again write down the original equation, this would be x minus 2x plus 1 minus 1, 2, 3, 4. Write that as an expression. Do the same thing on mat B's side. X minus 2x plus 1 minus 3. Do your legal moves, meaning create your zero pairs, and then you can take, again, a value away from one side if you can also take it away from the other side. And once you've done all that, what you find is that mat A has a value of -3 left. Mat B has a value of -2 left, so mat B is greater. For 8102, they want you to fill in the missing numbers in the giant 1, as well as the missing value in our fraction. So for A, your giant 1 should be 8/8. M's missing value is 96. For B, the giant 1 would be 16 over 16, and n equals 128. For C, what do we multiply 26 by to give us 39? Well, you can always divide to find that multiplier. It is 1.5. So 1.5 over 1.5 is our giant 1, and k is 30. You could also use it as a mixed number, 1.5. And then D, what do you multiply 20 by to give you 50? Again, you could take 50 divided by 20 to get that. You get 2.5 over 2.5, again as a decimal or mixed number, and H is 105. 103, a rental car company allows a customer to select any car on the lot. Currently, there are 3 blue sedans, 2 tan trucks, 2 black trucks, 4 red convertibles, 4 blue minivans, 2 black SUVs, and 3 tan hybrids. What's the probability that the customer will select a black vehicle? Well, there are 4 black vehicles out of the 20 vehicles, and that would be 1/5 as a simplified fraction, or 20%. For 104, Marley needs to construct a quadrilateral with side lengths of 2, 3, 4, and 5. She thinks there's only one possible quadrilateral that she can make. Is she correct? And the answer is no. There's actually several different quadrilaterals she can make. You could have the 5, between the side lengths of 2 and 3. You could have them in this order. There's just a number of different angle measurements you could have. So quadrilaterals are not as unique as triangles. So in this case, you could make a number of different possibilities. Then for 105, they want you to use a ruler and a protractor to create a triangle with 2 side lengths of 3 and an angle measuring 60. So what you want here is 2 side lengths to be 3, and I should see the angle measuring 60. All right, now the one that I've created actually has probably equal, it looks like, equal angles and equal side lengths, meaning it'd be equilateral and equal angular. But it doesn't necessarily have to be that to meet this requirement. For 8106, they want you to sketch the angles below and label them with their measures in degrees. So you're going to sketch these. And then identify whether each angle is acute, obtuse, or right. So 40-degree and the 50-degree angles are the acute ones. 130 and 92 are obtuse. And the 90-degree angle, of course, is right. Which angles could form a complementary pair? Remember, complementary means that the angles add up to 90. So the 40 and the 50 would add up to 90. So together they'd make a complementary pair. And what angles could add up to a supplementary pair? Supplementary means the 2 angles together have to add up to 180, and that would be the 130 and the 50 would add up to 180. So they would make a supplementary pair. For 102, you have to evaluate these expressions, meaning find the value. Make sure that you show some work, including your order of operations and so forth. So for A, you would add your 5 plus 3, then multiply by 2, then divide by 4. You get a value of 4. For B, you would add your 15 plus 3, then take half of that, 10 divided by 2, and lastly subtract. You get a value of 4. For this one, I should see that you get common denominators of 8, and then do your addition subtraction left to right, and you get a value of 3 5/8. For D, you would multiply these first and then add to the 3, and you get 3 3/20. Here you would add your negative 5 plus 6, then take it to the second power, and then lastly add your negative 2. And here you would do your multiplying between these two, you're multiplying between these two, and then you're adding last. Once you get to the point of doing your adding, you would need to make sure you've got common denominators, but I think you're going to have that because it looks like both sides will have 16ths. So you end up getting negative 12/16, but you need to simplify the answer to negative 3/4. For 8108, they want you to draw a coordinate graph and plot these points, connect them, and then what point could you move to make an obtuse triangle, meaning that one angle has to be greater than 90. So you're going to need to show the graph, and I will be checking for that. And then you should find that any of the points can be moved. You can move point B to 0, 3, or even further left. You can move point A to negative 2, 1, or farther up the y-axis. And again, you could also move point C. So for 8109, they want to check that you know how to solve your multi-step equations. Again, I need to see the steps, although it does not say you have to show the check. So I will show you the answer, but again, make sure you have this work shown. So for AX is 7, for BX is negative 2, for CX equals 0, and for DX equals 2/3. But again, make sure you've got work shown for these.